Hi guys, so by now most of you know that I think that this character represents the 3rd of August just because we've got the F Friday, the 3 leaves which could be the 3rd, and the 8th character which could be a representation of August. If that's the correct interpretation, there are multiple layers, so it could be wrong or it could be a multiple layered interpretation, which is correct, but sticking with it for now, just to hypothesize something, I think if that's the 3rd of August, then maybe this is the 27th of July, possible representation of when the blood moon occurred. Obviously, the apple rolls across 7 times, which is representation of 7 stages of an eclipse, but also could be 7 days later, which is the 3rd of August. So if this is the 27th of July, this might represent the 28th of July, something connected with fires. And when I looked at the news on the internet, I found that on the 28th of July, in relation to the car fire, which is in California, which started on the 23rd of July, Donald Trump declared a state of emergency for California on the 28th of July. So that could be significant and could be what this is interpreting here. I then went on to hypothesize that this character is the 29th of July because it's connected to the 28th, if that's the representation. Some form of maybe tsunami wave, but in this interpretation I'm looking at it as a representation of a shark fin, which is symbolic of a submarine. And when I looked at the news in relation to anything submarine-like on the 29th, which was yesterday, I found that Russia had their naval parade on the 29th of July. Obviously, submarines are a key part of naval equipment or military vessels. So I don't know if any of them were on display, but certainly they will have taken part. I don't know if any of them could have slipped away. Again, the possibility is there. We'll see. Russia is the only country that has declared themselves having or in the process of having a nuclear drone, which they've nicknamed Poseidon, capable of causing a tsunami. So something to really watch for. But again, it's just an interpretation, but it could be that that's 27th, 28th, 29th. And in this character, I think, as well as representing Donald Trump because of the way he sits and the possible reference to some form of hairpiece, I think the hands, they obviously form an M, which could stand for Monday. And if you flip the image 45 degrees to the right, you actually can get the M to turn into a 3 and the space between the head and the hands a 0. I'll take that away so you can see it a bit more clearly. So you can see the possible reference to a 3, possible reference to a 0. When it's facing the right way around, again, it could possibly represent an M. Obviously today is Monday, the 30th of July. So all those points would hit today. Again, before I saw this, the latest video on my channel, looking out for some form of announcement to do with Iran or uranium or something happening to Donald Trump between today and tomorrow. So it's possible that this character, which has commonly been agreed to represent Donald Trump because of the way this character sits, may also be referencing Monday, the 30th of July, which is obviously 3 days after the blood moon. We then may have a representation of the 31st, where this character appears to have a reference to some form of head wound. It could be showing you an empty skull. We do have a reference to another empty skull boy in this video later on in the video, so that could be the reference there. Or it could be that, you know, the hair's been shaved off or something to do with the head anyway, on the 31st, and that may again be connected to Donald Trump if something does happen to him. But then we get on to the 1st of August, where this glowing V-shaped band of colour appears to indicate, to me, some form of surgery, like stitches. on the scalp. So that kind of sticks with my theory about Donald Trump potentially getting shot and surviving. Again, this would come 3 days after the potential event happened, and we know how they like to mimic and manipulate the Bible, particularly Jesus's birth, life, and death. Obviously, his death included resurrecting after the third day, so that could be a manipulated reference that they want to use. Again, it's not a suggestion that Donald Trump is the Antichrist, but this is what they may be trying to portray: manipulation and deception. 2nd of August, this character appears to be waiting for something. Again, if this character is the 3rd of August, but also has a reference to 2nd of August underground, then this character, if it does actually represent the 2nd of August, appears to be waiting. Then we get to the 3rd of August, we discuss the events that could possibly happen on that day. And then the 4th of August, Obama's birthday, another reference in this video. We appear to have these 4 characters emphasized a little bit more. You can see the lighting is a little bit lighter on these 4 characters than it is on these following 8. So I think that corresponds with the map that we see in the beginning of the video, and the potential for 4 different events, but most likely connected with the United States, 2 on the East Coast and 2 on the West Coast. These could be representation of states, which if I extrapolate it geographically, then that would be Florida, New York, possibly Washington or Oregon, and California. So that's pretty much my interpretation of how these characters may be giving us some form of timeline in reference to the blood moon, and how that could lead up to the 3rd of August and the 4th of August. But all of this remains to be seen, so we'll watch and wait, pray and hope that these things don't happen. Some of you out there actually hope it does happen. I find that strange. There is an obvious part in the Bible that says you shouldn't long for the day of the Lord, so those of you that are longing for it have to question, what's wrong with you. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.